What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Listen, man, y'all want to know what 10,000 years into the future is gonna look like in 10 minutes? That's what this video we about to check out first is gonna show us, man. Or give us a prediction or a glimpse of what it could possibly look like 10,000. Can you even fathom 10,000 years into the future? Like, I think if I predict this video, everything gotta be robot Alexa style. Like, it gotta, don't you say nothing. Seem like every time you say her name, she lit. You know how I go with her. But anyway, I feel like that's how it's gonna be 10,000 years into the future. Then we're gonna check out 9 real things that defy the law of physics, all right? So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, man. Join the fam. I'm giving y'all different things. I don't want to give y'all the same thing every day, man. You quarantine, you need something different. I got y'all. Let's look. Let's see what it's going to look like after the coronavirus 10,000 years ahead.
Hello, everyone. We're sure that many of you know something about our planet's past. Dinosaurs, huge meteorites, ancient architectural monuments. Information about these things is available to everyone. But have you ever wondered what will happen to our planet in the future? Many modern scientists have been concerned about this issue for
Will we even have a planet 10,000 years into the future? That's the question.
Several decades. Fortunately, their knowledge helps us make predictions not only for the next few years, but also for the coming decades. In today's video, we're going on a trip to the future, and we're going to see what changes will take place in our planet in the next 10,000 years. Let's get it on. Of course, we're going to start in the near future. You probably want to know what you can see with your own eyes, right? Well, in 2019, new countries will appear on the world map. Bougainville Island, located in the Pacific Ocean, is officially an autonomous region of Papua New Guinea. However, in 2019, it can gain independence if a large part of its population votes for it at a specially convened meeting. And Nueva Caledonia, which is now part of France, can also become a separate country. In 2020, the construction of the tallest building on the planet will be completed. You all probably know that today's tallest building is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. However, this record can be...
I think the coronavirus might have put a halt to that plan. I think everybody's at a standstill now. Maybe 2021 we'll see it.
Exceeded by 2020. In Saudi Arabia, they plan to complete the construction of the Jeddah Tower that'll be the first one to reach the 1 kilometer high mark. That same year, the private company Bigelow Aerospace, dedicated to space tourism, will launch into orbit a ship that could become a hotel for Earthlings. The testing of these ships was successfip, and one of them was used by cosmonauts at the IS.
Who's staying there? Who's staying there? A ship. Look at it. I can't even get it out right now. A ship that is a hotel in space? Fam, first of all, I'm not going. Second of all, who wants to be the first one to stay at that hotel? Not me. Especially not while they're working out the kinks. Something happened, you just launched somewhere in space and can never get back. Nah, bro, I'm good. I'm good. It's just certain things that just strike me as, why? Why?
Access as a storage facility. In 2024, SpaceX is sending a rocket of the same name to Mars with different loads, and a couple of decades later, the first settlers on the red planet would arrive. Can you imagine? If you think that the idea of moving people to another planet is delusional, then you should know that this is completely plausible. UN experts predict that by 2025, the world's population will grow to 8 billion people, and by 2050, it'll be 10 billion.
Woo.
In 2026, the construction of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, which began in 1883, will be completed. The biggest problem with the construction is the need to design special stone blocks, which takes a lot of time. Therefore, in the near future, it'll be possible to finally visit this place and have a good look from the inside. No matter how sad it may seem, in 2028, Venice will be uninhabited. This doesn't mean that the city will be completely underwater, but there is reason to believe that living there will be impossible due to a significant increase in the water levels.
Wow. Wow. If you're in Venice, start making travel plans, relocation plans right now.
And this is a horror story for those who've always been afraid of strange objects falling from the sky. By 2029, the Apophis asteroid will approach Earth at 23,859 miles, which can lead to the collision of this large stone with our planet. But we hope we won't share the same fate as dinosaurs, and this hot bundle will fly by.
That's 9 years away, fam. And I'm just now hearing about this. 9 years away. Yo, that's scary to think about. And they said it could possibly have the same impact as what happened to the dinosaurs. That's scary to think about. And he just said it so nonchalant, like, yeah, you could possibly die in 2029, from some type of meteorite hitting the Earth. And he kept moving to 2033. But
as we said, the most likely planet for life is Mars. In 2033, not only a cargo will be sent to this planet, but also a true manned mission called Aurora. Researchers want to make sure that the planet is suitable for many people. As you've probably already understood, the future is closely related to the study of outer space, and therefore, probes will be sent there in 2036 to study the star system of Alpha Centauri. The Breakthrough Starshot project is sending an entire fleet of spaceships to the nearest star. The spaceship will be fitted with solar sails. Prior to Alpha Centauri, the probes will fly for 20 years, but another 5 will be needed to send a message back to Earth about the successful arrival. By 2040, an experimental thermonuclear reactor will begin to work. The construction started in 2007 in southern France, 40 miles from Marseille. If someone doesn't know, this is necessary to get a lot of energy. The advantage of this reactor is its safety, because even in the event of an accident, the amount of emissions will be so small that there won't be a need for an evacuation.
That's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about. But I still don't believe him. You know what I'm saying? I still don't believe him. We know what happened last time. You still can't even go to that place. The levels are still like outrageous.
Today, Antarctica is an almost completely unexplored and protected object, but by 2048, the ban on mineral extraction in this area won't exist anymore. Under the Antarctic Treaty System, no country can own this territory, and the continent itself is a non-nuclear zone. Mining is now also strictly prohibited, but scientists expect this agreement to be revised exactly in 2048. We don't quite understand how this was calculated, but scientists are confident that by 2050, the colonization of Mars will begin. By this time, people will be able to fly to the Red Planet within the framework of the Mars One project. But before that, scientists will have to solve many interplanetary travel problems. There is information that a special interplanetary elevator or something like that is planned to be built, but there's no official confirmation of such a novelty. Well, we told you about the closest changes on the planet. You ready to go further?
Hey, what else are they planning that they ain't telling us about?
Well then, scientists don't have any good news about the year 2100 because the weather would be ruined and chaos would rule over the world. The average daily temperatures on the planet will begin to rise, while diseases and the likelihood of war will increase. If you don't believe us, just take a look at the situation in today's world. Some regions of America are increasingly feeling the lack of water and suffering from droughts, while other regions suffer from terrible floods due to heavy rain each year. And there are more and more cases of forest fires due to the abnormal heat. And this global cataclysm has one reason. Overall, according to NASA experts, it's because of the carbon dioxide, which we emit in large quantities into the atmosphere. By early 2015, its concentration set a record and exceeded 400 particles per million. By 2100, it'll grow to 900. As a result of these adverse changes, the average daily summer temperature in cities such as Jerusalem, New York, and Los Angeles will be 45 25 degrees Celsius, and in London and Paris over 30 degrees Celsius. It's hard to believe, but according to NASA estimates, there's almost a 100% chance that the Himalayan glaciers in the Everest region will melt.
Global warming, man. And one thing scary about global warming is what? What's trapped in that ice, man? What is trapped in that ice? We watched a video not too long ago where it was like, man, certain diseases is trapped in that ice. So when it releases, when it melts, it's gonna release. And how are we gonna deal with that? Like,
but as long as these events don't lead humankind to its end. Nevertheless, by the year 3000, the temperature can rise by 15 degrees Celsius worldwide, and the sea level will rise by more than 36 feet, flooding most of London. As a result of these sudden changes, the UK may become warmer or colder, but it'll turn into a warm region eventually. This can happen if the current North Atlantic system is altered and Britain loses the warm Gulf Stream. Ocean surface temperature will drop by 3 degrees, but if the Arctic ice melts, it'll increase again by 8 degrees in a short period of time. If we continue to burn fossil fuels, then the sea level and the temperature will keep growing, which can lead to the flooding of large areas of Bangladesh, Florida, and many other places that are too low above sea level. As a result, hundreds of millions of people will lose their homes. At the same time, the acidity of the oceans will decrease significantly, creating a threat to the existence of marine organisms such as coral and plankton. This in turn can affect the entire marine ecosystem. Such unpleasant information is an excellent food for meditation, isn't it? But it's not too late to avoid a global catastrophe, because everything is in our hands. Well, now is the time to talk about the distant future, that is, about the years 4000 and 5000.
nothing we got to worry about seeing, but let's just see what they're going to be doing at that time.
Due to population growth, consumption of goods produced on the planet will also increase. Even if scientists succeed in transferring some people to other planets, then it will be difficult to rebuild factories and plants here. Therefore, to feed a colossal population of several dozen billion people, there will be thousands of farms operating in the oceans that will produce food at an incredible scale. In these ocean farms, not only fish but also algae will be grown, which will then be used as food and fuel. Science and technology will go one step further, so it's almost 100% likely that telepathy will become one of the usual ways to increase brain functionality. Perceiving thoughts and transferring them to a distance will become a familiar habit, like reading, for example. And it may sound fantastic.
Imagine now. Hey, some of our thoughts we don't want nobody knowing. Is it just me? Some of our thoughts we don't want nobody or need nobody knowing. We try to suppress them and keep them to ourselves as it is. But if somebody can just tap into your brain and see what you're thinking, oh, that would suck.
Now, but it's real even now. If by thought transmission we mean the transmission of electrical signals from the brain. Thanks to the achievements of genetics, scientists will be able to create people with the highest level of intelligence and immortality. The direct connection of the brain to the...
Why everybody think, man, Morgan Freeman is just immortal, man? He is, though. He is, man.
Computer, which will become an integral part of the lives of the people in the future, will give them an opportunity for the eternal life of the body. This means that the modern problems of impaired hearing, vision, and memory, the problems with other important body functions and aging of the skin would simply disappear. In addition to all this, the body's ability to tolerate various diseases will increase significantly. Nanobots, which already...
Hear that? Hear that? No more plastic surgery needed. Your body will be able to look, I guess, whatever age. Well, how would you... If that's the case, then how do you progress from child to adult? Will you always look like a child? Like, how does that... If your skin never ages... How do you age as in... Yeah, I would have... That's crazy. I'm glad I ain't got to deal with that.
Exist in theory will flow through our circulatory system, repairing cells. By the year 5000 or so, the language and currency borders will also be erased. Due to the large number of people that will inhabit the planet, humans will be in much closer contact with each other than they are now. Therefore, there'll be just a bunch of major languages that can be counted on one hand. Along with this, as you've figured out, there will be a single currency or an entirely electronic money that can be used anywhere in the world. Time passes, folks, and the years 7,000 and 8,000 are already here. Whatever happens inside of the Earth and on the surface of our planet, some phenomena will remain unchanged. The Earth will continue to revolve around the Sun. The Moon will continue to orbit the Earth. However, astronomical cycles will change slowly but significantly. The gravitational opposition between the Earth and the Moon will persist, but our satellite will move away several inches each year, decreasing in the sky until it finally becomes so small that it can no longer cause a total solar eclipse. And as we said before, people will have artificial intelligence, but that's not all. The problem of limb loss or injury will no longer bother the population, as incredibly realistic prostheses will be created. Let's say, moreover, anyone can replace any boring part of the body with a new bionic detail if he or she wants it. In addition to artificial limbs, artificial languages will also be created, and there'll be artificial builders and garbage collectors, and climate controllers, and nanobots will carry out all of these tasks.
Everything artificial is pretty much, huh?
Just imagine, you don't need to do anything with your own hands. You just need to click a button or run some program, and lots of high-end mini robots will perform any task. And finally, it's time to think of the future in 10,000 or 12,000 years. Of course, none of us can say with confidence what exactly would happen in such a long period of time. However, the stubborn futuristic scientists share their assumptions. Since we can't disprove their words, we have to believe in them. Therefore, at this point in time, the population of the planet may well become an immortal robotic army, living in an environmentally clean world which nanobots care about. Diseases will disappear. There'll be no wars. Guest visits will become trips in interplanetary elevators, but these are just assumptions. There's only one way to verify them. Live until they come true.
Going from planet to planet through an elevator is just crazy to even think.
We hope you enjoyed watching the future with us. Share your thoughts about this topic.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy to think. You know, we already headed that way, so you could see certain things, like I said, with her, I don't want to say her name, but her and different things that we have, where we're going in the future. So some of that stuff that he was speaking is not really, doesn't seem so far-fetched to me, to be honest with you.
Let's be honest, not everyone in school enjoys exact sciences. However, you don't have to be an expert or know Newton's 3 laws off by heart to understand the basic principles of physics. After all, it's pretty easy to understand that under the influence of gravity, objects fall, and a person can't fly without special devices. Wait a minute, are you sure? Today, we're going to be talking about situations where the laws of physics don't really apply. Let's get it on. Walking fish.
What?
How do fish move? Even a child can answer this question. They swim. However, this answer is not definitive. First of all, there are flying fish. Of course, they don't fly around the planet looking for a nice place to stay, but they are capable of performing some beautiful stunts in the air. But there's also something else. Look at these images of fish moving along a cliff against the flow of water. Is this an upside down video? Some kind of elaborate fake? Well, none of those answers are correct. It's actually a very unique species of fish. Actually, several species. In Central and South America, for example, you can find these sucker-mouth armored catfishes. The mouth of these freshwater fish works as a suction cup, which allows them to stick to the surface and stay there despite the fast flow. However, this is not enough to move quickly on the rocks without falling off. But this fish is easily outperformed by an unusual fish from Thailand. the cave angelfish. Thanks to the peculiarities of its body structure, this fish is able to walk, and not only on horizontal surfaces, but also at a 90-degree angle. This is made possible by an unusual pelvic girdle, which allows the fish to move its limbs diagonally like a lizard. But there's more to it than that. Among the marine fauna, there are other specimens that can walk with their pectoral or pelvic fins. For example, lumpfish. But even so, only the unusual tiefish can move on any surface, crawling around like a salamander.
Yeah, and if certain evolutional theories, you know what I mean, come into play or so happen to happen, yeah, now that you show that, I can see them actually walking. Oh, that's crazy to imagine, though.
By the way, scientists believe that studying them can help them better understand how 430 million years ago, after a mass extinction, some animals came out of the sea onto land and traded their fins for legs. Levitation. Now, how do you explain this? The guy made 2 tinfoil boats of different sizes, put them in a container, and they just started floating in the air. The amazing thing is, if you take the air out of the container and pour it into the boat then starts to sink. So, what is it? The thing is that the vessel is filled with a substance called sulfur hexafluoride, which is a heavy gas. But why doesn't that substance mix with the air? Well, because sulfur hexafluoride is 5 times heavier than air. It can't get out of the vessel. For the same reason, the aluminium boat stays on top of the heavy gas layer instead of falling down. Some call this trick the transparent water experiment. By the way, do you know about helium balloons? Everyone knows that if you breathe in the air from them, your voice becomes high and squeaky.
Right.
But if you breathe in sulfur hexafluoride, the sound of your voice will be low and harsh, a bit like Darth Vader's.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Heat shield. Every material on Earth has its own melting and combustion points, right? Well, not really. Well, originally, yes, but thanks to modern inventions, this statement is no longer relevant. In 1993, a British television show showed something incredible. An inventor called Maurice Ward presented an innovative material known as starlight. To demonstrate its properties, the British inventor covered a chicken egg with the shielding material. He then took a blowtorch with a temperature of over 2,000 degrees Celsius and exposed the coated egg to the flame for several minutes. At the end of the experiment, Ward took the egg out and cracked it as if nothing had happened. Both the shell and the interior were completely intact, as if it were a regular raw egg from the store. So what is the secret to the mysterious mixture? Ward himself claimed to have worked several years on his invention, mixing various heat-resistant plastics and trying to find the best combination. Nevertheless, the inventor never revealed the full composition of the mixture, saying only that it includes 21 polymers and a small amount of ceramics. What's surprising is that Ward...
You know who could use that? A firefighter could use that. But the thing about it is, though, we all know when you give us stuff like that, we go deeper and further into the fire where we shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? So we start using that gear and thinking it's, you know, going to save our entire lives. But that would be something dope to have, man. Imagine how much longer you could withstand, or if you add something to it to be able to withstand that heat like that. And to get in there, you could probably save a few more lives like that, bro. That was pretty dope.
Wasn't a chemist either. In fact, he didn't know much about science at all. The British inventor decided to create this compound after a plane fire in Manchester in 1985. At the time, 55 people on board a Boeing 737 died of asphyxiation in less than a minute from toxic smoke. But then, why hasn't there been a revolution in the construction industry worldwide since the creation of Starlight? Very simple. Ward was unable to reach an agreement with the British Department of Defence or any private companies. The amateur chemist was very afraid that the composition of his mixture would be revealed and was not willing to negotiate. In the end, no one was able to unravel the secret, and after Ward's death in 2011, the story of Starlight seems to be finally over.
Wow. So we're deprived of something that could possibly save some people's lives if it's used right, correctly, or maybe some modifications is done to it. You get together and you start to build on it and create something special, man. But the fact that they couldn't come to an agreement, man, we were deprived. That's crazy. That's crazy to think of.
Hydrophobic materials. You've probably seen online ads for hydrophobic shoe sprays. It's a very useful invention for people who live in humid regions. But scientists at the University of Rochester in New York have developed something even better. They've created a technology that turns any material into a hydrophobic element forever, without the need for additional treatments in the future. The secret of this revolutionary technology is treating the materials with lasers using micro and nano structures. A certain pattern with a certain depth is applied to the desired surface. The invention can be described as truly revolutionary, and its field of application is not limited to the production of clothing fabrics. In fact, these materials can be used, for example, to create the wings and fuselages of aircraft. This completely eliminates the risk of ice formation. Incidentally, a few years ago, scientists perfected this invention. Thanks to hydrophobic technologies, they've invented a way of treating metal surfaces that prevents objects from sinking. But how does it work? Structures applied to the surface are able to capture and retain air, which creates an air bubble around the object immersed in water. This is what pushes the metal to the surface. In the future, this may help create unsinkable ships. Memory metal. What happens to metal when it's subjected to pressure? Right, it changes shape like almost any solid material. However, there are also exceptions to this rule. This material is known as nitinol, and it is an alloy of titanium and nickel in almost equal proportions. This metal is much more elastic than regular metals and retains the memory of its original shape. Producing this alloy is not easy though, but its unique qualities make it very popular in the market. Nitinol is used to produce artificial satellite antennas, fuses, boilers, bone implants, placeholder pins, and even jewelry. Nitinol can also be used in the production of perpetual motion machines. This was first done by American engineer R. Banks in 1973. The main element of the original device was a wheel with spokes, similar to the one that you see on the screen. Another component of the engine is the nitinol wire loops, which are bathed with cold and hot water. Nitinol reacts to the temperature changes. In the cold cycle, the loop's ends come closer, and in the hot cycle, the ends straighten out, which makes the wheel turn. This engine is not used in the industry, but thanks to its properties, it's really able to work forever if the temperature of the water in the tanks remains the same. Stone in the air. This installation in Myanmar attracts crowds of tourists every year. Many of them believe that the Golden Rock, or as it's called in its homeland, the Kyaiktiyo Pagoda, has a divine nature. Legend has it that it was placed on a rock by two Burmese spirits 2,500 years ago. The main version claims that the pagoda has the hair of the Buddha himself inside, which prevents the stone from sliding. Well,
you see that? At any given, like, I would never stand up under it, bro. I get it. It has some spiritual and significant, and you know what I'm saying, things they deemed and believed the reason why it's positioned like that and staying there. But I get that, and I salute them, and I respect everything that they're saying, but I'm still not standing up under it, bro. Did you see how it's angled? It kind of looked like this loop. Hold on. Like a rock sitting on this, and it's just almost there. Like the right earthquake come through, and it's over. It's over.
The temptation to believe that this structure was created by divine beings is really great when you look at it. How can a 7-meter rock stay on the edge of a cliff for so many years, almost without touching it? Well, honestly, scientists have not been able to find a definitive answer to that.
See what I mean? They can't even figure it out.
Some geologists believe that the Golden Rock is the result of a volcanic disturbance, and most people accept the stone's divine origin. Psst, dude, are you looking for new technologies?
And you accept it until one day it falls.
Great gadgets. Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.
I gave us that little bit of information, even though I am currently interested in virtual reality a lot, man. I don't know, I'm just fascinated with it here lately. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think. Is the future what you guys expected it to be? What do you think? Something you wish you were around for when it happens? I'm not too fascinated with the whole space thing. I don't know why, man. I just feel like, I don't know, the first few people that go up there and try it, it's gonna be an experience, man, and I just don't want to. I wouldn't want to be one of the first ones. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a like, share the video, subscribe, and stick around and stay tuned, man. Until the next reaction, I'm out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. Hey.